All right, I'd like to invite everyone to stand for the pledge of the flag, please.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Charlie, would you like to say anything about Golden State first? After they beat the Cavs last night?
They played with a small lineup, and I like it.
All right, that's what I went to that. Listen, welcome everyone tonight to the town meeting. I love it when we see a great crowd out here. First up, we have the minutes of the June 3rd meeting. Do we have a motion to approve the June 3rd meeting?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion on the minutes on June 3rd? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Financial report and payment of the bills. Do we have a motion to approve the financial report?
So moved.
We have a motion
Second.
and a second. Any discussion on the financial report? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay. Lou, you going to handle the ordinance? You want me to keep rolling?
Yes, the ordinance 5, 2015, is the fiscal year budget for 2016 presented for adoption tonight.
Very good. We had, we introduced it for introduction at the last meeting. Do we have a motion to approve ordinance 5-2015, the fiscal year 2016 budget?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. Discussion on the budget.
Yes, please.
Go ahead there, Commissioner.
Last 2 weeks ago, I asked what the other commissioners had a problem with last year's budget with former Mayor Fasano and what questions they had this year, and I sent emails and a text and received nothing. So I'm going to assume that no matter what I say tonight, this is going to be pretty much.
Did you include me in that?
Yes, you and I started talking back and forth from that same email about where I thought the town was mismanaged. You pointed out that we had awards with finance, that we were going to agree to disagree on a lot of stuff. That was the same email chain.
Okay.
And received nothing. I'd like to state that I'm very disheartened. It seems to be the same thing over and over again. You know, I think that there's a lot of avenues in here for money to be misused, and the lack of engagement of that misuse or talking about it is extremely disheartening. I understand this is going to be rubber stamped through, but at some point in time, I really feel that the taxpayers, both residents and businesses, need to ask some very serious, candid questions about the way this money is being spent. I guess that's all I have.
Very good.
Okay, great. I do have a question about the budget. And again, Robbie, you mentioned, and I just want some assurance, not that I am knocking what you're saying. The Economic Development Fund is $200,000.
That is correct.
And you said that $100,000 will be managed by the Alliance.
That is correct, and
the
it will.
other $100,000 will be managed by the town.
That is correct, and any funding that's going to any, as with all of our budget items, this board will vote on every item that will be leaving from the budget.
From the Alliance as well as?
Yes, as soon as we would approve the financial statement at that point in the payment of the bill or however it may be, and it would be at that point voted on again.
Right, so it's split 50-50, but we manage it or approve the total amount.
That's correct.
Thank you.
I have a comment, and I thought that it was going to get later on down the line in order for me to address this, but since it's dealing with the budget, and just to comment from what DJ has brought up, and Sam, I'd like for you to quote this. Thank you. I want to quote it. I normally don't argue about people's opinions or their social media statements or whatever, but when it comes down to this budget issue, the budget issue has been brought to the workshop. Questions were answered, questions were asked from the public. We had input put into it. We have all the board members for years and years have been dealing with a budget. Now, for one time, DJ, you want to ask everything on every item line on the budget, and you want us to call back and tell you what we asked. You had the same opportunity as all the rest of the board members to call Michelle, the finance department, all the different departments, and get those answers. But instead, you choose to wait until, I guess, you get your audience to make sure that you get your questions asked. Now, you've said in front of the board 3 times, I would like to ask some questions. The mayor stated that, again, quote this, the mayor stated, what questions do you need to answer? And when you didn't ask those questions, you didn't have a question to ask. You said, I'll get back to the next time. Now, the next time came, you didn't have questions asked. Now, you want us to come back and try to babysit your questions for you and not give you answers. Now, let me explain this to you. I have never stood on a board, this is 11 years, sit on a board and heard such a clear, precise budget defined and broke down such as Mayor All has given. And this is one year that I can say, and this might hurt someone's feeling, from the prior times that I've been on the board, that I had mayors that I sit with and worked with, I've never had a board that's been so together on item line, and showing the definitions of everything. The last mayor, and I'm saying this might hurt your feelings, and I'm not calling names, but I'm just letting you know this. This man had taken a budget, broke it down, and found money that we didn't even know we had last year. I'm one to stay here and say, I didn't know we had it because we didn't have enough leadership to go and find out where the money was and put it in use for the taxpayers. We have somebody now that's fighting to make things right, make things go in a positive direction, and we still have people complaining and arguing about the budget. Now, I have 2 people that I highly respect, Mr. Lemon and Mr. Litzenberg. When they go through your budget, if they don't find something that's wrong with it, then nobody else is going to find it. I'm going to tell you that right facts. Okay, so I highly respect their opinions when they bring things to the table. And I listen to it, and I bring it back, and I ask questions. Now, for you, Mr. DJ, there's one comment I'm going to say, and then you can take it any way you want to. I'm not here to argue. I'm just making my facts. When you grandstand and try to make yourself look like the lone wolf, you're going to be the lone wolf. If you're not a team player and playing on the same team, you're going to be left alone. You're going to be the only player that's playing and make yourself look so good that the facts are not building up. You're going to vote against a budget that just for orders to show for public opinion and everything. You voted no for that. If you vote no for that, you're going to vote no when we vote for it. So you can say whatever you want, my brother.
I appreciate
Mary Jo,
that.
you have any comments, or?
I did want to just say, because there was a comment in a letter to the editor, this has been the most transparent budget I have ever seen. And I want to thank you again, Mayor All, for doing that. And if someone was not here at that workshop meeting, go online and look at May 13th workshop. You will see the discussion that went almost 2 hours discussing this budget. So it's not like we did not talk, but we did, and we saw everything line item by line item. How many trucks, police cars, mowers, everything. So it's the most transparent budget I have ever seen. So thank you.
And I don't want to cast any aspersions. We are a board. We're supposed to be Team Elkton. Certainly, I've been here 20 years. The budget was very good. It was very transparent. It's detailed. I see Robbie in here on a regular basis, trying to lead a team that should be led. Basically, the administration and the department, they've all gotten together. There's been ample time, and basically, Rob, I want to say, we did put the budget together well. It is the mayor budget, and I'll follow through on best I can. And thank you for what you've done.
Okay, we had a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion against?
Aye.
We had 4 for, 1 against. Thank you. Okay, Lou, you were on.
The next item we have is a resolution refuse disposal fee. I'm sorry? Oh, I'm sorry, planning report, Gene Menor, I'm sorry.
Hello, Gene.
Hi, how you doing? This is, before you have the 2014 annual planning report. The land use article of the Annotated Code of Maryland requires that the planning commission prepare, adopt, and file an annual report with the local legislative body, which is yourselves. This was brought up and discussed at the workshop last week. The planning commission had recommended approval in May of this annual report, and it covers the development activity that occurred in the town of Elkton during the year 2014. It covers major and minor subdivisions, rezonings, annexations, special exceptions, variances, appeals, historic district work permits, building permits, and site plans. The information is presented in a summary fashion in this report. And there are copies available for anyone who so desires upon request.
Thank you, Gene. When you presented it to the workshop, I don't think we had any questions. Everything was beautifully. Anyone have any comments or any questions in regards to the annual report?
Great job.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think you need to move to,
We do?
Accept it.
you should accept.
All right, do we have a motion to accept the 2014 annual report?
So moved.
Got a motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Lou, do you want to introduce, bring Severn Trent up now?
Charles Scott here.
Yeah, Charles is here, come on up, Severn Trent. We're gonna deviate from the agenda a little bit, have a seat, and I think you wanted to introduce your team real quickly, and,
Good, grab a chair.
one of the,
And he's got this.
Oh, okay, okay.
we just wanted to, we got Charles here with us with Jason and Rich, and they're the Severn Trent team. There's been some changes at the water plant, the wastewater treatment plant, over the last several weeks. And so if you could elaborate and tell us a little bit about the team here.
Pull the mic up to you, sir.
Okay,
Pull it, Jim.
thank you. I appreciate your time here, Mayor and Council, and Louis. I'd like you to introduce Jason Taylor. He's been Assistant Project Manager for the last several years at Elkton. He's stepped up into the interim project manager basis. He's here on a day-to-day basis, making sure everything's going right. And then to help him fill that role, Rich Gardner is stepping in. Rich is a regional manager that's been moved to doing special projects at the corporate level. Rich has got, how many years?
30 years.
Wow.
Yes. He started out, well, I don't know if he started out, but he was also a project manager at Glen Cove. He's been one of the regional managers in our safety department as well, and then a regional manager over the southeast region too. So he brings a lot of experience to the plate. Rich is also a PE, and we're going to be looking forward to helping the town as we get through this process of selecting a permanent project manager. We also have Dave Fink out of our Downingtown office that's going to be also providing support. And then Jeff Doutrick and Jim Beckstrom are also trying to plan a trip to be here, hopefully either Friday this week or Monday next week, to sit down and look over some of the plans and everything that for the improvements the town's got going. So
Very good. Any questions for Severn Trent?
Thank you.
All right, say the same thing. Welcome on board. Well, you've been on board, you've been on board.
I do have Jason.
Yeah.
I've known him before, but Jason, you are aware of all this, not all of them, most of the changes and stuff that we are dealing with, right? And you're pretty much the backbone of the last project manager, right? Okay, I just want to make sure you're aware with all our issues that the town's been dealing with, and just welcome you all there.
Lewis has done a great job of keeping us abreast of everything.
Yeah, I know he's one of Perryville
He's one of your
from-
students?
Yeah, that's why he's so smart. I know, Charlie, you're going to tell me. No, just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Thank you.
I knew he went to school with Perryville.
All right, Bill.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Okay, Lou, you're on.
Very Bill. Resolution, I think, all favor? Okay, refuge disposal fee, okay, this resolution, R4, resolution to authorize the finance department to implement and collect the refuge disposal fee to offset the expense of contracted residential trash collection and landfill disposal fees by the town. Whereas the code of the town of Elkton, Title 8, Chapter 804, 804-130 provides for the collection of an annual refuse disposal fee to be charged to all property owners from which refuge is collected and disposed of by the town, and that this fee shall be established by a resolution of the mayor and commissioners. And whereas the mayor and commissioners by resolution R4 2014 enacted on June 4, 2014, implemented an annual refuse disposal fee in the amount of $103.32 commencing July 1, 2014.
Could you speak up a little, please?
For collection, by the finance department on a quarterly basis. And whereas the mayor and commissioners have determined that the aforementioned refuge fee, disposal fee shall be adjusted approximately 2 66/100% for fiscal 2016 to offset the expenses of contracted trash collection services at Cecil County landfill disposal fees by the town. Now therefore be it resolved, the annual refuge disposal fee of $106.08 shall be collected by the finance department on a quarterly basis, $26.52 per quarter, and included on the quarterly water and sewer bill for all customers receiving trash services from the town. The adjusted annual refuge disposal fee shall be effective July 1, 2015.
Thank you, Lou. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R4 2015?
So moved.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
None.
All in favor?
Aye.
I wanted to mention that, without going into too much detail, we had a meeting with Waste Management. I'm trying to think, my days are getting a little confused, but I guess it was yesterday. It was yesterday, and the Waste Management contract for the town is coming up within the end of August.
August 31st.
So we're looking at, in preliminary talks with Waste Management, trying to see what direction they're going to go. It certainly seems like this is going to be a possibly increase, but once we get it out on bid, who knows what will happen. But I just wanted to let everyone know that we are trying to work on maybe extending or just going ahead and put it out on bid with another entity. And I think we've had great service with Waste Management, but also we have to do the right thing for the residents of the town, trying to keep the amounts down. Go ahead, Lou, you're back on.
The 2015 road restoration project, I have a bid opening here. We received bids from 4 contractors: Diamond Materials LLC of Newport, Delaware, Dix Hollow Contracting Inc. of Elkton, Meadows Construction and Rising Sun, and Sam's Construction LLC, Wilmington, Delaware. First bid is with Diamond Materials.
Hey, Lou, what was the engineer estimate?
We don't announce that until after the bids,
Okay.
because we don't want to.
Can you tell me now?
Huh?
Or you can't tell me?
I'll tell you after the bids.
Oh, okay.
Do you have it? Do you have the engineer's estimate?
Okay, that's okay.
I don't have it, okay.
Okay, that's okay.
The Diamond Materials LLC bid is $469,969. It looks like 86 cents. Now, there's somebody that's really got it down. Okay, repeating, $469,969.86. The second contract, or bid is from Dix Hollow Contracting, Elkton. Their bid is $506,201.54. Precise stuff. Meadows Construction, their bid is $444,282.01. And the last is Sam's Construction. And Sam bids, it's a different format, right? Using the form. $486,000. $179.40.
Read that again.
$486,179.40.
So we've done business with Meadows in the past, I believe.
Yeah, we've done business with, I think all these contractors at one time or another.
Would you recommend moving forward with Meadows after you approve everything, or do you want a contingent upon making sure they met the spec?
Yes, the board can issue a contingent award, that if everything, if they're clear, if they're in good standing and everything, and all the bid specs match up, then we'll just go ahead with the notice of award.
Good. Can we have a motion by the board contingent upon exactly what Lewis stated for $444,282.01?
So moved in favor of Meadows.
Second.
And a second. Any discussion on Meadows? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay, next item I have is Historic Elk Landing Foundation. On September 12th, they're having an event at the Zebulon Hollingsworth House in Elk Landing entitled the Taste of History Event. I believe Minnehanes may be involved in this also. And because there will be alcohol served, they need a waiver from the town. And I would recommend that we grant a waiver to the Historic Elk Landing Foundation Incorporated for the date of September 12, 2015 for their Taste of History event. And I'm sure that the mayor and commissioners would enjoy attending that event.
Do we have a motion to approve the request for waiver for alcohol for the Taste of History event on September 12th?
So move.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Next, I have two towing contracts. These are a continuation of services by these companies, Elkton companies. One is with Kraus Auto Body Inc. Their contract expires in November, but they've asked that the contract be renewed, so in terms of extending their business interests. So I would recommend that we would extend a contract with Kraus Auto Body Inc. for a 5-year period.
Very good. Do we
We
have,
provide towing services for the police department or for any service that's related to accident investigations, things of that nature.
do we have a motion to approve the towing contract with Kraus Auto Body?
So moved.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Slight.
Yep.
Also the renewal for the next one though too, right?
Yes.
We both, have we had any issues at all?
No,
Not with that at all?
no, it's very dependable.
All right. And rates are fair?
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm not involved in the gathering of the rates, but as far as I know, yes.
All right.
You want to know what they charge?
As long as they're fair, it's not my job to double check that.
Yeah, they charge $75 for the towing and $25 a day for the storage fee.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next contract?
The next contract is McNeil Inc. trading as Purnell Auto Body. Same 5-year term, actually runs concomitant with the Kraus Auto Body. And the way the police have it, that they call one and then they call the other and they switch back and forth. I believe these two businesses have a very good relationship with the police department and satisfied with that level of service. I would recommend extending 5 years for McNeil Inc. also.
Are the rates the same as?
Yes.
Okay.
Do we have a motion to approve
So
the,
moved.
thank you, and do we have a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I just wanted to say, it's good to see that we're using local towing services, and I like the way they're alternating the services so that it'll be fair to each one of them.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
The next is Resolution R6, 2015, disposal of surplus property. Quick resolution. Resolution shall declare certain property of the town of Elkton as surplus and authorize the disposal of the property. Here is a chart of the town of Elkton, Article 13, C13-1 provides for the disposal of any real or personal property of the town that has been declared surplus by a resolution of the board. And whereas the following equipment was purchased in 1996 for composting operations at the Elkton wastewater treatment plant and composting operations were curtailed in or about 2008, and the equipment is no longer operational. This equipment is produced by EnviroEquip Systems, Inc. It's a landscape trommel purchased in October 1996 by the town for $72,446 or something. And it has a VIN number and it's located at wastewater treatment plant. And upon the board's approval, I will take the appropriate action to see that this equipment is properly sold at the highest rate we can possibly get from it.
Very good. Do we have a motion to approve Resolution R6-2015? We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second?
Any discussion?
Yes, one. The money, when we sell it, does it go back into the general fund or water fund?
Sewer fund.
Sewer fund? Thank you.
This is used at the sewer plant, purchase of sewer money.
Fair enough, thanks.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries.
That's all I have.
Very good. The first thing that, I guess kind of lead right into disposal of property. Just recently, the town disposed of several pieces of equipment at the Ritchie Brothers auction. And I believe that actual number was a little over $31,000 that we received. And out of that, I think they got a 10 or 15% fee here or there. But in the years past, we would have never received that type of amount for our equipment. So we gotta say Ritchie Brothers was a nice thing. They got bidders from all over the world bidding on these items, and we were very fortunate that we were able to get that kind of dollars out of disposed equipment. On Monday, I had a meeting with the meeting ground folks over here at the Mary Randall House. I'm trying to continually meet with the organizations to try to continue to educate myself on some of the issues that we have in our community. One with the first and foremost, the homeless population. And there was quite a few different, there was a lot of information I received from that meeting that we'll be able to use when we have our second coalition meeting, which will be slated for sometime in August to move forward. But it was a very informative meeting for me, and there's some things that I can bring to the table, and I think that we may be able to continue to move forward to helping on that path. Let's see. On June 6th, I'm not sure if I mentioned it before, but I did attend the Cecil County 341st anniversary celebration. And I thought it was a very nice birthday party for the county, and what that brought to light to me was, quite frankly, I never knew when the town of Elkton's birthday was. And after doing a little bit of research, we believe that it was May 5th, or May 24th is our birthday. And I think, and I'll put this out there for everyone to give us some feedback on, with it so close to Memorial Day, and the town has been hosting a Memorial Day parade, and we want to honor our soldiers, of course, with our Memorial Day parade. I'm not sure how fitting it would be to have a float or not, celebrating the town's birthday, also celebrating the service that our veterans have done for us. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there. If it's something that we shouldn't do, then we'll just continue to move forward with the Memorial Day parade as we've always have. But I think it would be kind of neat to celebrate our birthday every year in some manner, along in that parade, or maybe to the rear of the parade or at the very beginning of the parade. So just wanted to put that out there for food for thought for everybody. It's right at the same time. Alrighty, last evening I attended over at the Methodist Church a meeting on the conversation on race, and it was once again, it was a very informative meeting. There was a lot of information brought out, educating me on it, on some issues, and I think that it would be I know the church is going to continue to have and host these events, and I would as we are made aware of these events, I think it's very important for all of us to start to attend these to understand these issues. And Commissioner Gibbons was well represented there last night by his loveliest wife, I have to say. And I tell you, it was a great crowd attended, and I think it's something that makes sense for all of us to be part of. Okay, I wanted to mention that there won't be a workshop in July due to the Maryland Municipal League Convention. This year, the Municipal League Convention starts the last week of June and leads in through July. So our first meeting in July will be pushed till the second week in July, which will be on July 8th. Then our second meeting of the month would be on July 15th. Is that correct? So we won't have a workshop in the month of July. I also wanted to mention that every year the town's insurance comes up for renewal, and for the last I don't know how many years, maybe 10, 12?
For
How many years we had the legit insurance?
since 1999.
Since 1999, and I felt it was important for us to check with some of the local brokers in the area, and there was only one insurance company that offered municipality insurance, and that was Travelers. We sat with them. I know staff has met with them over the last several months, and I want to let everyone know that we did get the quote back from them, and it was it didn't match up with the legit number. It was higher than what we're currently paying, and the good news, I think, that by going through this process, I think we were able to get legit down a little bit, quite frankly, to bring it in. So I'm pleased to report that it was. I was very pleased that we were able to try to work with a local vendor, and I'm sad to say that the local government fund was better priced. Also, on the Elkton High School filmed a lip dub video.
Beautiful.
And if anyone has an opportunity to go onto YouTube and check that video out, wow. I think that that's the words out of my mouth, is wow. It was about 11-minute and 50-second video. The whole school participated, and it was amazing. I asked staff to post it on the Town of Elkton website.
Elkton High alums.
And there we got an Elkton alumni right there. So we actually posted it on our website, so you don't have to search it on YouTube. You can go to the Elkton website and you'll see it. But anyone that took a look at that, wow, it was very, very impressive. So hopefully everyone will. Also, I had a meeting today on an effort to continually to try to get the best rates on the money that the town of Elkton has. We made a move with some of our CDs, and we were fortunate several months ago that we were able to move them into move some into another account to where we got about 30% more. Now, don't get excited when I say 30% more. On the money that the town is currently has in our accounts, we get 0.1%, and 30% more, we got a 0.0013 number. So I can say that's 30%, but the fact is it's not much money on top of that. I had a little meeting today with UBS today, and they're going to get back to you, Steve, and bring some things to the table. But if we could lock our money up a little bit longer, on the low end, we can get 0.66%. So not 0.06. So it's about 6 times the amount that we have. But if we're able to keep it in there almost a year, then they're shooting to me that we could earn about a full percent, maybe 1.05. So on the amount of money that we have, that's pretty substantial if we can work those numbers. But I wanted to let you know, Steve, that they will be contacting you, and but we are doing our best to make sure we're keeping the money in a safe, but also some type of better rate paying to us. With that, I'm going to lead off. Commissioner Van Reenen, you are on. Start with Mary Jo.
I'll take it.
You know,
You want to go first?
yeah, go ahead, man. No, I'll be accused of grandstanding again. Let me go. The business as usual, good old boy network, if I'm going to be the lone person, I'm okay with it. I have no problem with it at all. And I never thought that government business is a synonym for mediocre. And the only thing that I've been asking for the entire time, from the time that I took office, matter of fact, the first night I know I ruffled feathers, was just better than what we've normally done. You know, and through the entire year, you know, Rob and I talked about, you know, he strongly feels that I wouldn't go along with anything. I strongly disagree with that. My thing is looking at it from what I feel is a bird's eye view. I have no alliance with anybody. I have no allegiance to anybody. Nor was I friends with anybody here, really. Actually, I don't think I was friends with anybody here before I ran for election. So it's, for me, it's able to take a look at the problems. And I did write down a couple things. And the framework of what the mayor, as a couple people pointed out, the framework was nice. I do agree with that. It was laid out in a manner, whether whomever did it is immaterial, but it was thought-provoking. It was, as I saw in the paper today, it was very energetic, and you need those things, absolutely. And I've never, not one time, said that you didn't. You know, the problem is past the framework, I don't see an executable plan, or what is the executable plan, what is the vision, and then when you take that, you drill down, and then you eliminate the redundancies, and then you move forward, and that's what every successful business does, and this is a government business. With the EDC, I have to strongly disagree that is an EDC. It doesn't mean that it's not a great plan for downtown. Again, I want everybody to hear me on that. I'm not against promoting downtown. What I want is something bigger and better. There is no accountability for downtown. And what I mean by that is if somebody wants to go into Delancey Plaza and there's a choice between downtown and Delancey Plaza, are they being forced to downtown? Those are the things that I'm talking about. You know, are we promoting? I didn't see anything where we were promoting outside of a 2-block area, 2-block by 2-block area. And then also the accountability, the oversight for all of that. It's just not there. And that's what I'm used to, and that's what I keep on saying. Now, if that's grandstanding, then it's grandstanding. But if I'm going to be on the outside looking in, okay, I've been there pretty much from day one, and I think that I've put myself there, and I'm okay with it. I don't think that it's right. I try to be involved in everything. I try to support, and I have asked questions. But you know, as far as the way, the amount of money that's being spent, I would much prefer to give it back to the taxpayer than to spend this exuberant amount of money on something that will not reduce the burden to the taxpayer. And that's where I have a huge issue with a lot of this stuff. And why I have a second. There's a gentleman in here, I'm not going to mention his name. One of the things I'm talking about by double checking is I have no problem with using any business as long as we are supposed to do what we're supposed to do by going out and getting bids, going with the lowest bidder. You can't go with just cause. You know, we wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that in my household. I don't understand why it's okay for us to do that. And that's all I have tonight.
Thank you. Charles?
Dan, while you're here, you can explain to the board and to the public, basically, when the trash pickup comes, it's for trash and it's for recycling.
Yes.
2 days dedicated, 2 days dedicated.
Yes.
There has been this week, and I've been to a lot of areas in the town, a lot of carpeting, toilets, sheet rocks. And the truck driver was saying that they were instructed that they're not to pick this up, that they're to either bring it to Public Works or to call the town. Is that correct?
That is correct. Because that's considered construction debris. They can't pick up construction debris, can't pick up carpet, because when that happens, it goes to a different spot of the landfill. And then the rates are triple. That's the reason why. We have a household rate, which is what the town's paying. We start picking up construction debris and all this stuff, it goes to municipal rate and it triples the amount. So that's the reason why they separate between the two. If that happens, and they tell us we have a facility available, they bring it to us and they can use our dumpsters free of charge.
Okay. Okay, I was at Accent only 2 days ago. The young lady in there explained that Scott, he's the owner of Accent, and she evidently was coming to the town meeting tonight. Of course, we got her situation resolved, thanks to the Lord. I spoke to, he spoke to her on the phone while I was there, and thanks for the chief, because he looked up some information. She was under the impression that a pit door seems to attack or bite more, but that's not the case. And the owner, Scott, evidently got 4 stitches inside, 4 stitches outside his ear. He was walking the dog, pit bulls came out of nowhere and attacked him, so that happened. And you want to explain that about the dogs again?
You know, the question that was posed to me is, if I can give some insight into the pit bulls, and our experience in responding to dogs at large or wild dogs, our experience is that pit bulls are not biting citizens or anyone or anything else any more than any other dog, German Shepherd, Rottweiler. So we just don't have that experience. We do respond to dogs at large, calls for wild dogs. People who have been bit, yes, they have been bit by pit bulls, but they've been bit by numerous other dog breeds as well. Can't say with any degree of certainty that it's just a pit bull or that they bite more than any other dog, not by our experience. But they just bite harder.
I want to thank Dan Hanley. They picked up some trash that was a transom cord, I guess it laid out there for a couple of weeks. And they picked it up a couple of days ago.
Yes.
Okay. Robert, what are they doing on High Street beside Clark's Architect? You know, they tear the buildings down, like this Gene.
I believe, go ahead, why don't you go ahead, Dan? Who needs to answer that? Well, yeah, they're gonna do the new Express Center or.
Clinic, yes, sort of like an emergency center. Then they're gonna expand the parking lot a little bit adjacent to the buildings. They're taking down a house that's next to the building.
Yes.
So Clark's building architect, that stays or that?
It's staying, as far as I know, it's staying right now.
Thank Lieutenant Waldridge for the Elkton High School graduation. That should make Mr. Lissenberg very, very happy. And the other residents up there, for years, they've had problems with the graduations, and basically, it was a good night, because I don't think there was any complaints. So that was very, very good.
It was a good night. Worked out well. I think the weather had a big part to do with that. But yeah, Lieutenant Waldridge did a great job, and the officers who were assigned up there also did a great job, especially at the close of the event, getting everybody out of there as it got dark and get everybody out safely.
Right. And you don't have to worry about it until next year.
Right.
Okay.
Thank you, Charlie. Earl?
I don't even know what I want to talk, to be honest with you. For the Parks and Rec, first of all, I'd like to say that the dance sessions are going on for the summer. The basketball program will be taking place July the 6th at the middle school at 8 o'clock till 12. And that's a 4-day program for the Parks and Rec. And they're still looking for new registers, people to register. One of the things that, I'm not going to apologize for my statement from the beginning, but one of the things I wanted to say in my report here was someone gave me a letter from the editor on June 8th, which I was going to make a comment to that letter. Normally I don't do this in writing and all that stuff, because once you write something, it just spreads out and somebody else writes something. I don't do that. I just tell you the facts, and this is the facts. Number one, the letter stated that the mayor, Alderman, and the fellow commissioners, Givens, Mary Jo Jablonski, and Earl Piner, are completely in lockstep. Now, if the word working together, that's fine. If that's what lockstep means, yeah, we're working together, because we feel as though there's a positive thing going on with what the mayor is actually bringing to the table. And when the mayor brings to the table, it's not just him, it's a group effort. That's what I think. To this letter, I just want to say, personally, I've been here 58 years of my life, and to make a comment like that, you don't even know who I am. You might think you do, but I'm 58 years in Elkton, Maryland, live and breathe Elkton, and personally, my brother and sister, whoever, the issues that we deal with, I've seen it. You just can't come in 5 years and go and solve everybody's problems. We've got to deal with issues as we deal with them today, and the ones that have been involved with it, go back and ask somebody about it. Maybe you get some answers instead of assuming. This is the part where I really feel bad. From the last meeting that we had, there was a conversation about the budget and how the budget was all created and fixed all up. And yes, Mayor Alt created this budget. It wasn't set by nobody prior, taking credit. And I can't believe a person would take the credit for a budget that this man done. Actually taking the credit, and I'm going to state, that's the way the budget was set, so that you can have some money for the years to come. We didn't even know there was money in the budget. The board people, myself, Mary Jo, Givens, we tried last year and year before to try to create things from the budget. We didn't have money. And because of this, we asked the finance guy, well, we have to see where we can get money. If we found money, so I'm just clearing this. Don't take credit for something you didn't do. If you're not man or woman enough to stand behind your mistakes or your failures and your success, then don't take credit for somebody else's problems. I'm looking at this letter, and this, to me, someone just wants to write something on behalf of somebody else. As far as I'm concerned, you can write all the letters you want, but when you want a question, ask me, I'll tell you the facts. That's it.
Thank you. Mary Jo?
This morning, I attended the Gilpin Manor School Vision Plan on behalf of the mayor and commissioners, and I just wanted to report, I told Perry Willis that I would. They are building a new school next to the school and then tearing down the old school, so there will not be an interruption. So that property right beside the school, that's where the school will be built. The session today was fantastic, and they will be having sessions all throughout the summer. We will all be on the email list to be invited. Their timeline is they are presenting their plans to the school board on September 14th, so that it could be in the fiscal year budget for the following year. And once that takes place, they're looking at next year this time, possibly everything going smooth, starting to take plans, and then 2 years for building. So I did want to report on that. And I have to say, the engineer architect firm, Studio Jade, they were phenomenal today. Really a workshop that was very, very good. The other thing I have is a while back, as some of you know, I was looking into LED streetlights for downtown. We do have our quote finally. The total cost, which is 116 lights, because there's 2 on each lamppost, is $34,800. The Delmarva power incentive would be $17,400. Projected annual savings is 47,250 kilowatts and about $5,200 a year. So the payback would be a little over 3 years. So if we could possibly discuss this at workshop a little bit in August, I know we don't have one in July, and see if it's something we want to move forward with, I would appreciate that. And that's all I have.
Very good, thank you.
I know Rob and I was with Perry Willis, and the one thing I want to see about the school, I don't know whether the architect presented, but he said that the school is not going to have a specific front, that it's going to be in this direction, this direction, this direction, this direction.
Yeah.
So whatever direction you come, it's all going to look basically the same.
Yeah. They're excellent, this company.
Yes.
I think the library will share parking for that too. I think that's
Yeah, the library was there as well today.
Very good. All right, this is the time of the meeting. We open up the floor to the public, and I've got a few that have signed in, but I'm sure we've got a lot of folks that would like to say a few words. Miss Margie Blystone of 14, is it 14 or 19?
14.
14 John Adams Lanes, come on down. You want to talk about a stop sign at Bow and High?
Yeah, we mentioned it a while back ago that it's confusing to have the four-way stop at Main and Bow Street. My daughter goes to Cecil College, Elkton Station here, and I drop her off a couple of days a week. And so every time I run into that stop sign issue where people are stopping on High Street and they think that they've got to stop because you're stopped. And I wondered if we could just get a stop sign, make it a four-way stop so that it's not confusing. I know there have been accidents there several times because of people being confused of that intersection.
And I think that I brought that to the table, and I believe that the comment was the state said that there wasn't enough area between the one stop sign to where the new stop sign would be. It didn't meet state, does that make, is that what it was? Does anyone know that for sure?
There was the distance between North Street and Bow Street was very short for having a sequential stop in that location. We had a traffic engineer look at that and give a recommendation. I can dig it up again.
Can you get,
That was one of the issues.
But they came in and did that at Main and Bow, and then at North Street. State
I'm
Highway.
saying when we did Bow Street.
I know, but I'm saying it's the same distance.
I'm sorry?
It's the same distance,
It's different because they're two-way.
but it's just on
one-way.
High Street.
It's a two-way, one-way street, so they're different.
dig that up for us so we can take a look at it. But
We had to pay.
If not, could we possibly put like two-way on the stop signs that are there if we can't make it a four-way, just so that people are aware that, I don't know how we can mark it, that, but it causes a lot of confusion.
I see people stop all the time.
Yeah,
I see them stop, and it does cause the confusion.
yeah. All right, thanks.
Thank you. Mr. Richard Lemon, come on down, 103 Walnut Lane. Various issues tonight.
That made it easier to write down and put all the issues down. Mary Jo, that lighting is very interesting. I guess part of the question is what replacement costs are on lights and how long they last. I assume putting this up is the initial cost, but replacement of bulbs and all is probably a lot less.
I may be wrong, Dan's there, but are the replacement bulbs around $80 for those?
It sounds right, but I have to research to give you an
Yeah,
answer.
I believe it was when I checked before.
Anyway, if you run some numbers on that, you know, I think it's a very important project, and I think it'll add to the safety of downtown with the added lighting and everything that it brings. But I think you need to know how long the lights last and what the replacement cost is and that kind of thing. And then you can put some numbers together and know whether it's a good deal or not. I think it's a good deal anyway, but gotta have numbers.
Thank you.
The other question, just going through this meeting here, this road restoration, Louis, are you getting a warranty on that? Can you get a warranty on that, or is that
Yeah, there's always a maintenance bond,
maintenance?
one-year
bond?
maintenance bond after the work is completed.
Okay,
That's tradition.
that's a tradition.
Tradition.
Hmm?
It's tradition that we've always got one-year maintenance bond completing after the work's completed.
Okay.
But your problems probably occur after 1 year.
Can't get bonds longer than that.
Will you speak in your microphone,
Maybe get a
please? We
warranty.
can't hear you back here.
Pardon?
Louis,
Louis, the
microphone.
mic.
close.
Maybe get a,
Point to you, Louis.
No, I'm saying, we have a one-year maintenance bond.
that's good.
Roads can last 5, 10 years before they fail, but you can't get bonds for that period of time.
No, but maybe if you're dealing with these guys, you can get some kind of warranty from, if you start to have problems, that they'll come back and fix it. That's just a comment. And I'll get to my list. Titled Various.
Thank you.
This is a quickie. I was in Chestertown the other day, and they have a building down there that's marked Visitor Center. And you may be, are you familiar with that?
I am.
Because that seems to me like a nice name and maybe a good idea. Have you talked to them about that at all?
Not to Chestertown, no.
I'm just wondering how that works. And but I know some of the things that you have in mind. This might be a good name for where. I think I know where you're going to have the visitor center, but it might be a good name. Maybe it isn't. I don't know. You decide. Wanted to ask about parking meters. Have we hired somebody to do the parking meters, and what are we doing to increase parking revenue as far as fines and monitoring it?
What we've done is, we had the applications. We actually interviewed several individuals for the job of the parking meter person. And as soon as we offered the job to one, they declined. We offered it to the second person, they declined. We offered it to the third person, and they declined. So now we have it back out for applications, and I think that we have how many applicants at this point?
I'm not sure how many applicants have, but we're in the interview process right now, and it looks like we may have somebody on course.
Who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought you go through this process and they don't accept the jobs?
Well, maybe hire a college kid for the summer. And I don't think that's probably a very difficult job to learn. And in the meantime, you can hire somebody if you need to. And that leads me to my next thing. I brought this up before, and I don't even know if this is in the purview of the town, but summer employment. And I had suggested earlier that you encourage local businesses to hire people for the summer and to stretch a little bit. What brought this up, which I mentioned before, is the problem in Baltimore where the kids can't get a job. And I don't view it's that easy around here to get a job in the summer. And I was born and raised in Baltimore, and I didn't have any problem, but that was even before Earl was born. So
That's a compliment.
Earl, I'm not going to tell my age, but thanks for telling yours. All you have to do now is give us your birthday and we'll celebrate.
You got it.
But anyway, I'm just suggesting that, which I did before, that somehow or another it would be nice to encourage businesses to stretch a little bit and hire people, and maybe, I thought through the churches and all, to be able to tie people available to potential jobs, this type of thing. And just a suggestion. I'm quite concerned about this issue.
Most people have problems with the workman's comp. Workman's comp with the people that's working for them. Most of them have problem with hiring a teenager or a young person.
Well, you have to be a certain age, but there's a a lot of people around that need jobs that, qualify, I think. I wanted to ask about this was brought up in the meeting, the employee recognition. When will the forms and all be
We're
ready?
going to kick it off July 1.
July 1.
So I can come in here and pick up a form and fill it out? Is that how that works?
No, because the July 1 will be when it starts, but the nominations will be for activity or extraordinary performance during the first quarter. So you have to observe the activity between July 1 and the next 3 months. That's how we're doing it.
That's going to be hard for me because I'm not down here regularly. But anyway, that's okay.
Well, we'll tell you about everybody that's really performing.
You'll make some
extraordinarily.
suggestions to me that I can put them in, right?
Sure, very good.
Okay, I got it. I'm going to get to the two more important issues now. The one issue that came up in the meetings was the business loan guarantee, and I think I understand where you're going with that. My suggestions there is that there be a cap, something you guys would talk about and vote on, but a cap on the dollar limit of these, of the amount of money that Elkton would put into it. I think that's important.
Yes.
So that you don't back yourself into a financial corner. And the other thing I thought was that might be a thought is that if you established what I call a review committee, and that would be separate from the commissioners, where you would have people that would review, and I understand it's hard to get a loan today, and that's part of the problem, but would review, would talk to the applicants and review it, and people that are in business here and that buy and sell real estate and that kind of stuff will understand the viability of the idea. And so it's not to say that you shouldn't issue credit. It's to say that you should have some people look at it that have experience in the area as to whether it's going to take off or not. And like Dwight Hare back there is a man that owns, I forget how many houses he said, but like 26 houses, and he owns the florist shop, and so he has experience that would bear on this type of thing. And you brought in 3 people that have experience. He's just one of them. But I'm just saying that might be a way to go, to then have them look at it and then make a recommendation to you as you guys, whether it's a go or no go. That's just a suggestion.
Thank you.
And the other thing, the last thing is relates to the budget. Only this is the rest of the story, you might say. Last year, the town put a large emphasis on cost reduction, and I'm suggesting that we do the same thing again this year. I thought last year there was a good effort by all the departments, but I particularly remember the police department worked on overtime and stuff like that. Public Works did a lot of stuff to redo. Public Works came up with some very good ideas. So there's never an end to good ideas. And so I would say it's important, and I can sit here and say it, but if you guys buy onto it, then you have to put it into motion through Lewis and get things going. And so, you have a positive program for the year, but that doesn't mean that you shouldn't work on controlling costs and you have a lot of good employees in this town, is work on cost reduction.
Yes.
Wherever the ideas. That we had mentioned earlier that the possibility of starting a suggestion system, and my experience with suggestion systems is that people come up with ideas and suggestions that you would never think of yourself. You could walk right by something and never notice something that somebody else that's as they say, the people that do the job know the job best. And so I'm just saying that it's, you have an aggressive program, which is a positive program, but it's also important to work to look at the cost side and see what you can do there to operate in the most efficient manner you can. And I think employee involvement, employee participation is really key. Guess what? I'm finished.
Thank you.
Earl, thanks for that positive comment on Bob and myself.
Truth hurts, doesn't it?
Mr. Dwight Hare, come on down, 142 West Main Street.
And by the way, we are Elkton. I like that photo. I was not going to make any comments tonight, but, Diane and I attended at least 4 meetings on the budget, so I'm back on the budget. And the working sessions and the sessions, I think it's 3 or maybe 4 in here. And I always go home wondering what Commissioner DJ's problem is, what your concern is. You use the word tonight, mismanaged, the town's mismanaged, but you never explain to me. I walk out here and never know what you're talking about. Give me an example, just a plain example.
Sure.
There.
I appreciate you asking. And I know that you and I don't see eye to eye on things, but let's take, for instance.
Wait a minute, you got to clarify.
Speak up.
No. What do you mean you and I don't? I've never even ever talked to you. What do you mean you and I don't?
I guess it's just a feeling. If I'm wrong, my apologies.
Okay, I accept it.
Thank you. Let's take downtown. We're spending $200,000. We're also spending, I believe it was $50,000 on lights, wreaths, and stuff like that. And I'd just like to concentrate on the lights and wreaths right now, if you don't mind. The mismanagement, in my opinion, is...
I want to interrupt. I think you're incorrect saying that we're going to be spending $200,000 downtown. That's not correct.
Okay.
Totally incorrect.
Well, you have EDC of 200, 100 going to the Elkton Alliance, the other 100 to
Which
be
is
spent
all of
out.
Elkton. Which will be all of Elkton. I think the perception is that it's the downtown area, but I promise you that it will be 100% the whole town of Elkton. And
Okay, how? That's been my whole question the whole time, is how? Because the money that was put up there and
Up where?
On the PowerPoint presentation, and I had asked for a vision months and months ago. I mean, 8 months ago, Rob thought I was attacking him, and I wasn't. I was asking for what is the vision, what are we doing with an EDC. I brought in one of the mayor's friends, Dave. He was bringing up the same type of things of what exactly are we doing? How are we spending the money? How is every dime being accounted for? I mean, it's not.
I still haven't got that. Give me an example. Give me you mentioned a low bid. I'm not sure what you mean by that.
Going back to the lights, and we'll, I guess.
No, I really heard about the low bid. You just mentioned a few minutes ago. What do you mean by the low bid? I don't understand that. I'm a big taxpayer in this town
Okay,
too,
here you
so
go.
I appreciate your concern about the taxpayers, but
Well, I'm a taxpayer too.
yeah, but tell me about, you keep mentioning about low bid.
Okay. There was a scenario where the retention ponds, that we didn't have enough manpower in DPW to take care of the retention ponds.
Mhm.
So we put it out. There was one company tasked to do it, and that number came in, I thought was high. I asked where the bids were. It finally went out to bid. We went with the lower bidder instead of the first bidder. Then all of a sudden we get trees downtown. Unfortunately, we did not put the bids out for the trees. In my opinion, that's absolutely wrong, and that's what I'm talking about as far as the mismanagement of the town. We went with the highest bidder for those retention ponds. I have nothing against any business, but I truly believe that we have to pay attention to every dime that the business taxpayer and the resident taxpayer is paying to us. There's many of things. I mean, we have in the budget right now over $250,000 for 5-ton dump trucks. Well, you know, those trucks have less than 45,000 miles on them. They're all rusted out. Who's being accountable or held accountable for those things? merit. I asked Chief Donnelly, I asked him, oh my God, it's probably been a good 8 months of how often the police department do evaluations. You know, we're giving a 5% pay raise to every employee in town. Now, I'm not against giving money. The problem is we have no idea, and how am I supposed to explain to you, sir, of that person deserves it and that person doesn't deserve it, because there's no merit evaluations, none evaluations done in this board to include, or to not include, the current mayor. My understanding is they hired somebody, and we were of how to manage the town administrator, and one of the things in there is that we were supposed to be doing evaluations. Those evaluations aren't done. So why aren't we holding somebody accountable for those evaluations not done? So I can answer not just to you, but to my next door neighbor and to Mr. Litzenberg and Lemon and stuff like that, that this is a reasonable thing to do because these people deserve it.
So that's your objection to the budget? I walked away last
Yes.
meeting, you didn't seem to be happy, but I didn't know why you weren't happy.
Well, the first budget hearing, I didn't have time to really sit down and dissect it, and I had the papers calling and stuff like that. I had no time at all with my primary job. And then going into this, I did have questions here and there. I looked the other day for a line item because the applications we take in the police department, we charge $10, $25, $50. I couldn't find a line item in there. You know, the budgets that I'm used to looking at, yes, they are line items. We go right on down every single line item. There are projections. What was it last year? What's it going to be this year? Why do we think that it's going to be more? Those are the things that I'm disheartened about. That yes, we get down in the weeds and take a look at it, as I believe any successful business should. And this, for some reason, did not happen. Instead, sir, there was a wish list. Bring your wish list. Every other town around us is not doing a wish list. The county's not doing it. The state's not doing it. That just bothered the heck out of me.
Yeah.
To me, it just doesn't seem right, sir. And as there's 4 other opinions here, this is just my humble opinion also.
Okay. I just always leave here feeling that you're not happy, and you're right, you and I do have a disagreement. I'm gonna explain to you, because it happened
Sure.
the first night you were here. That was the same night we swore in our new chief of police.
Mm-hmm.
And you belittled him at that meeting right in front of his own wife. And I'll never forgive you for that. You remember that meeting? You kept picking on him and picking on him, and all it was a swearing in ceremony for you and him, and then you went and did that. And ever since that, I thought, man,
Okay.
I'm concerned about you.
Fair enough.
And do you remember that?
I do.
But why'd you do that?
That was to do with,
When you do that in closed
personnel.
session, if you remember, I came up here and said you should be in a closed
Hey,
session.
hey, Dwight, I'll ask you maybe to bring that up with DJ later.
Okay.
We can talk outside if you want. Absolutely. I'm sorry?
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Very good. Anyone else have anything else to say this evening? Chief?
I just want to say for the record, the police department does evaluations on all their personnel
Mhm.
2 times a year and has been for 25 years that I've been working.
And you did say that, I think it was 8 months ago or something like that. You did, because I asked for evaluations to be done because there was rumblings about this, and how are we supposed to give? Yeah, there was no attack on you.
No, I just wanted to make sure we're clear that we do the evaluation.
Yeah, I know you do.
Okay.
Mr. Litzberg? Walnut Lane.
Just one comment. The police, when they shut the streets down up there, they did a good job. They only had one issue that I could see, and the chief was going to talk about, and that officer handled himself very well. If it had been me, I probably would have been down here in the jail. But he told the person after their situation, have a good day, madam, and sent her on her way.
Thank you.
But he did a good job with it.
Thank you.
And I guess I'm going to end, Mr. Walter. Mr. Ron.
Mine's real quick, too. I just want to put it to the table, if you will, to discuss this, not necessarily today, with regard to permits in the area that I live in. A pre-talk that we had, I do have a deed to the home. And, yeah, in the outset there was 2, each house had 2 spots Okay, but consequently, I don't know if Tom took it, how that happened or what happened, but I know what the date said, and that's when it's allocated, that you had 2 spots, you know. And that's not true. That's not true. It's not necessarily a neighbor being disrespectful, you know, or anything of that nature. It's people that are coming in to visit, and because the overflow is filled, they're just pulling wherever they choose to pull in. You know. And some of them will go in the house and knock on the door and, you know, say, nobody knocks on my door because of that pit bull that I got. He's only Jack Russell, but he thinks he's a pit bull.
Very good. I've actually had, Michelle's actually gonna try to pull your deed up online, and we are looking into that. So I'm gonna kinda get Ray, Ray Waters.
Did I hear that Christmas decorations and some of them will be on the Chesapeake City side of town as well?
Well, absolutely. I will tell you that I had
around, right?
Well, without question. I think, and listen, maybe I'm here at fault, quite frankly, that, you know, I used the words budget. You know, a budget is, in my opinion, based on what you're, you know, it's somewhat of a guess, and we can go line item for line item, but still you don't have a firm number on any of these. My goal is, of course, to continue to try to do my best and not spend the $13.5 million that this budget is. I feel extremely comfortable, once again, that we're going to probably be well under $1 million, maybe a little more than $1 million, and that's going to be because we're never going to be up to full staff. There's going to be some things along with that. But I will say one of the things that Commissioner Van Reenen had asked, and we were going to discuss it at the last workshop, was that maybe we could extend the time for the budget so that we could have a little bit more opportunity for the public to review it and all of us in general to review it. The way the charter is right now, it gives us 32 days before I make the presentation to the board. This past year I did it 40 days prior, and then we did start the process in December. But I will make a commitment to this board today. If I can get everything moving in the right direction, we will have the budget approved before the election, next year's election. And that's going to make sure that I'm going to put some heat on the board. The election's going to be the 3rd week or 4th week in May. I want to get it approved before the election because that's always been one of the issues that we have, and we were talking about making those changes. Now, I will also say that I may not have all the information that should be coming to me, so it's really going to be somewhat of a speculative number. But I'm willing to commit to have that budget done prior to the election so that whoever the board is won't have to vote on a new budget. So I'm willing to do that. I'd be very happy to do it. With that, Mr. Wiseman?
Just one quick question. Mr. Gibbons had brought up earlier about not knowing what was going on.
And your address?
140 Park Down, I'm sorry. Mr. Gibbons, Charlie had brought up about the building going down, being torn down up by where Singerly is. I would encourage the board maybe to look into maybe rotating, Mary Jo's been the ex officio, I'm the planning commissioner, Mr. Ginter's on the planning board. Our meetings are getting more and more business again, things are starting to come before us again. Mary Jo's been our ex officio for I don't know how many years, but I've been on the board forever, and, for a long time. Maybe you might look at rotating ex officios to get everybody a little bit different experience with different boards, to get a little more exposure to different things that are going on in different boards as far as development, zoning, and different issues might be a good idea. And if nothing else, we do have minutes that are printed to come out that you guys should have probably be looking at. I would encourage you to get those minutes and read that. If somebody in town would ask you about something, it would certainly be, if I was in your shoes, I'd feel better, a little education, knowing how to answer that question as opposed to saying, I don't know what's going on.
That's true.
It would just help you fellows in general, and lady at Mary Jo's as being in our meetings, knows what's going on. But if y'all knew the basics of what's going on, it might help defer a little bit of confusion or some spreading of information through the town.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, it is 8:20. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.